Hi Taurus, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your March 2026 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, Taurus what we have in front of us, it's a 12 card spread. And each of those cards represent a different house of the zodiac, starting with your sign, Taurus. This is the first house, working all the way through to Aries, representing the 12th house. And once we get through the main spread, we'll actually pull an oracle card for some additional insight. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the Spirit Keeper's Tarot, and for the Oracle card, we'll be using the Wisdom Oracle. And before we start with all that, we'll actually roll those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, so we have 4. So for you guys, 4th house energy is Leo. That area of the zodiac's a little quiet right now, but in general, 4th house points to home roots, family. We have Scorpio. So for you guys, Scorpio is actually your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, and contracts. That area of the zodiac's also quiet right now, but obviously there could be some significant events there. And we have Mercury. So at the time of recording this, we haven't started that Mercury retrograde just yet. It starts on the 26th of February, but pretty much it's going to be going through until the 20th of March, and then you'll still have a post-shadow period beyond that too. That's going to last into early April. So for you guys, Pisces is your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. So definitely be some revisiting of themes around that area of life. So we'll keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. In the first house, which points to personality, self-awareness, and appearance, we have the 10 of Scepters. And this deck is referred to as the Burden one. So yeah, this is basically the equivalent of the 10 of Wands. It's a Sagittarius energy. So could just be saying that maybe you guys are just feeling a little bit overwhelmed in certain areas of life. Now, given that for you guys, Sagittarius is an 8th house energy, could be around maybe investments or possibly even just going through heavier mental health energies as well, and feeling a little bit overwhelmed there. For the second house, which points to possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the 10 of Orbs. So this is the equivalent of the 10 of Pentacles, which is a Virgo energy. So at the very least, to me, this says your finances look to be in a strong position. Even if they're not currently, I feel like this is saying the path that you're on now, you'll be able to see tangible results as far as seeing that it will stand the test of time and lead to steady improvement there. All right, so for the third house, pointing to communication, short journeys, and siblings, we have the 9 of Chalices. So this is a 9 of Cups energy, Pisces energy, and as you can see in this deck, it's referred to as the Wish Granted, which is pretty common. People often refer to the 9 of Cups as the Wish card, but seeing this here, to me, says that there's going to be some communication you have this month that's actually going to be something that you've been hoping to hear for a while. So could be plenty of areas of life that could be reflecting. Like we said, for you guys, Pisces is your house, basically, of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. So maybe you'll hear some good news from someone from a group that you normally deal with. For some of you, this could even be more of a romantically related thing, but either way, I feel like this is saying you will be hearing positive communication this month that you've been hoping to hear for some time. In the fourth house, which, as we said with the dice as well, basically points to home roots family, we have the Hierophant. So this is actually the major arcana card for your sign. There's your symbol there. So yeah, to see this here could just be saying that when you are at home, you're going to be feeling more like yourselves, or you're going to feel regenerated, reconnected with yourselves, more in tune. So I feel like this is saying you might be withdrawing a little bit this month just to, regather yourselves and get your energy back. And this could say that for some of you, if you feel like you can't get that when you're alone in your own space, maybe the best way to do so would be to reconnect with family. All right, and for the fifth house energy, which generally points to romance, creativity, and children, we have the Empress. So this is another card that I often view as a Taurus type energy. It's very earthy. and we see the Venus rulership. So that's the planet you guys are ruled by. So yeah, so I feel like this is saying that as you remain in that open and receptive energy, you're going to find opportunities coming your way this month. Again, this could possibly be related to that wish granted energy we see in the third house as well, meaning that opportunities might come your way that you really want to take advantage of this month. But I feel like this is ultimately saying that there's no real need to push yourselves this month. You could just try to step back and be in a bit more of a flow state, which it looks like you might be overdue for that anyway, right? Given that we see the burden one in the first house. So for sixth house energy, which points to health, work, and daily routines, we have the Seven of Swords. So this is an Aquarius energy here, and for you guys, that is your 10th house of career and social status. So seeing that come up here, I feel like this is saying that for a lot of you, you probably want to take anything you hear this month, especially within your work environment, with a grain of salt. Could just be maybe that people were over-promising versus what they could actually deliver. So I feel like this is saying, it's one thing to hear people out, but I feel like this is saying you might not really want to act on what they're presenting this month unless you absolutely have to. And if you do, I feel like this is saying, really read it through thoroughly to make sure that everything's how they say it would be. All right, so for the seventh house, which points to partnerships, contracts, relationships, we have the Two of Chalices. So yeah, so seeing this here, again, this could definitely be an indicator. And again, I feel like it might be tied to that Nine of Chalices energy we see in the third house. I feel like this is saying that you're going to have a meeting of the minds this month. Now, given that this is in the seventh house and it's a cup energy, of course, we tend to think more romantic connections in that regard, but could just be a partnership in general where you feel like you have a nice meeting of the minds there and it's something that you want to take to the next level. So looks like either way, whether it is romantic or just more of a seeing things through similar viewpoints and being able to take off with that as far as maybe even a business partnership, looks like there's definitely a high chance of that happening this month. All right, so for the eighth house, which points to death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments, we have the Archangel of Glory. So this is actually the equivalent of the King of Wands. So for you guys, that is Leo energy, which really is more of a fourth house thing in your chart. But seeing this here, yeah, I feel like this is the feeling I'm getting from this is staying power. So again, like I said, maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed when it comes to investments, things along those lines there. But I feel like this is saying that something's gonna make you feel a little bit reinvigorated in that area of life this month. So could be connected to a message here, like we were seeing with the third house there, or possibly just when reconnecting with family that might get you back in tune. But it looks like it's definitely a positive omen for sure. All right, so for the ninth house energy, which for you guys is actually Capricorn, we have Five of Chalices. So this is a Scorpio energy coming up in here. So what I'm getting with this could just be saying that maybe you're reevaluating how you viewed partnerships in the past, right? So maybe this communication that you're hearing is making you view partnerships through a different lens. And now maybe there was a disappointment you've gone through in the past, and maybe you just started to think that, well, that's just how that area of life is going to be for you. And now something might come along this month that shows you that that's not necessarily the case, right? And that there is still the opportunity for things to play out in a more positive way. So could just be a little bit of a grieving process there around any past opportunities that might have had you feeling that way. But I feel like this is saying you might finally be getting closer to letting that go and looking at things through a more positive lens. All right, so For the 10th house of career and social status, which for you guys would be Aquarius in your chart, we have the Chancellor. So this is the equivalent of justice, and that's a Libra energy. So at least we have a fellow air energy in that house because, like we said, for you guys, your 10th house is actually ruled by Aquarius. So there's some compatibility with that as far as that goes. But to see this here, you see it's referred to as the Angel of Justice in this deck. I feel like this is saying that even if there are some setbacks that you might experience, right? Like we said, feeling burdened, maybe feeling like people are trying to get one over on you when it comes to your day-to-day work lives. I feel like this is saying ultimately seeing this here in the 10th house shows that they wouldn't be able to do much damage, even if you did let something slip through the cracks and you didn't realize that, oh, this person, wasn't being exactly truthful. I feel like this is saying karmically it would work out in your favor anyway. All right, so for the 11th house energy, which, as we mentioned earlier, for you guys, that is Pisces, we have the Shining Flame. So this is actually the equivalent of the Knight of Wands. So yeah, it could just be saying that maybe through your friendships, the groups you deal with, there might be someone who actually just breathes life into you. They might say some positive things that shift your perspective, especially if you have been feeling a little bit weighed down, a little bit burdened, right? I feel like this is saying that there's at least one person, possibly multiple people in a group that you associate with that could say something that's actually going to give you that spark and let you restore your confidence in yourselves. And for some of you, given that we did see the Mercury energy come up there, could just be saying that, maybe this is going to be something as far as maybe there was a falling out with a friend. Let's say that could be one way it plays out, right? Because, Pisces has had a lot of tricky energy moving through it in general. And given that that is your 11th house of friendships, it could just be one of those things where maybe there was a falling out, let's say, while Saturn was moving through that house, right? So that could just bring a heavier energy. And then Neptune was also there. So that could have been pointing to just not seeing things too clearly to begin with, right? And then in those cases where something's already gone off the rails, the Mercury retrograde could be a positive there as far as helping restore that balance. So maybe there was a misunderstanding between you and a friend in the past, and now you guys might cross paths again, and it's able to be set straight in a positive way. All right, so for the 12th house energy, which for you guys is Aries, we have the Seven of Orbs. So this is actually a Taurus energy here, the equivalent to the Seven of Pentacles. You see the Taurus symbolism there. And it is interesting, like we said, given that 12th house energy for you guys is Aries, and we see the Saturn symbol here, given that Saturn is currently in Aries. So yeah, this could just be saying that maybe you could be looking again, a similar theme to what I'm feeling with that Five of Cups energy, which is that you might be looking back on things that you might have felt like you ended up spending too much time on, and that ended up not paying off in the way you would have hoped, So there could be a feeling of disappointment around that, right? Where like, oh, I put so much time and energy into this thing and it didn't go quite the way I hoped. But if that's the case, I feel like this is saying, given the other energies we see around us, Brett, I feel like it's saying that ultimately those experiences were still there for your benefit in the long run. It just didn't feel like it at the time. And now as you're progressing forward, I feel like you're going to start to see it through that lens as well. To say that, okay, yeah, this experience I went through, maybe it was a disappointment, but it left me so much more well equipped from where I'm at now and able to handle situations much better in the present. All right, so bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Chalices, and in this deck it's referred to as the Purifying. So yeah, so again, like I said, I feel like there's going to be something possibly through direct communication, or for some of you, just more symbolically, just feeling that energy shift. That's actually going to really make you feel a lot better about where you're headed moving forward and about the new opportunities coming your way. But we'll see what the Oracle card adds to the mix. So like I said, we're actually going to pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. I'm just going to give this a few shuffles, then we'll cut the deck and pull a card. Alright, we'll take this card here, get this out of the way, and we'll see what card you got. Alright, we have Go the Distance. There's the artwork, and the number is 47. So yeah, we'll see what this has to say. Alright, the essential meanings says endurance, strength, the long haul. The Oracle's message: to bring your dream to life, you must think long term and pay no attention to the fluctuations in the current of your experience. Joy and disappointment commingle with opportunities, so there is no need to fear the occasional obstacle. Life is not a sprint. This card is a reminder that you have endurance, strength, and fortitude to carry you all the way. Remain true to yourself. Your authenticity alone will keep you in alignment with the energy of miracles. What is yours will never be withheld from you. Remember that. So yeah, that last sentence for sure makes me think of what we were talking about with the Five of Chalices and with the Seven of Pentacles, right? Where you might have felt like there was time wasted around something, but I feel like this is saying that ultimately it was all for your growth as well. And now that things are going in a more positive direction for you, you'll be able to see that more easily. The relationship message says you either are in or are calling in a harmonious relationship that can stand the test of time. For better or worse, as you ride the ups and downs and even strain, break yourself, and are remade in new growth, you are being redeemed by the power of regeneration. Harmony does not mean there will never be a wrong note played, but that the relationship is marked by endurance and dedication to overall unity. A new song can be written, an instrument can be tuned, and the symphony of love will play on. Listen with your heart. Isn't it magnificent? So yeah, that definitely seems to align with both the the Two of Cups, rather, and the Seventh House energy, I should say. And seeing the Empress in the Fifth House, it seems like there's a connection there as well. All right, and then for the prosperity message, it says, your most precious dreams are not about instant gratification, but enduring prosperity. This is a time to think long term and engage in continued action. You will experience momentum building as you translate the ebb and flow into slow and steady movement forward. Your efforts, ideas, and hard work now can lead to greater riches than you can imagine. Stoke the fires, and an uninterrupted stream of energy is available to support you in all the phases of manifestation. Be assured that you're in the right place right now. So yeah, that definitely sounds like a message that could help restore your confidence as well. But yeah, like I said, I feel like you're also going to get some kind of outward confirmation about being on the right path as well through some communication in general. But yeah, we'll wrap up there. So hopefully that resonated for you guys. All right, bye.